This video is brought to you by
Cool green clothing coming straight up out of that DMV. You know what it is. This that Baltimore designer right here. Come on now, come and show some love and show some support. Go online right now, coolgreenclothing.com, and make your purchase. Oh yeah, by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way, and that's just basic.
What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For the day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Let's get right into the story. There's been a lot of questions over the last few years regarding the future of our youth. Some older people say they really see no difference from about a decade ago until now. But that's a debate, as most feel like our kids lack activities to do outside of being on their phones all day, playing video games, or listening to certain music that can convince even the most privileged good kid he's a shooter or trapper. All summer, I've been peeping everything, even with my own kids. You look outside, you don't see little boys hooping, playing football, or riding bikes. The little girls don't jump rope no more, play double dutch, or nothing. My youngest daughter opened my eyes and really hurt my feelings when I asked, why you don't go to a party or hang with your friends? She's 15 years old, and her response was, it probably will end with the party being shot up. It's a bad energy going around where a lot of teens and young adults feel like the way to live is having ops, robbing, having the biggest gun, doing the wildest thing, and really living life like they don't see a future. It's wild when you pull up to a store, see a 14-year-old boy clutching on a blick, and you gotta watch him like a grown man. And the boldness of the crimes and the way some are living is not getting any better. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we will discuss a case of two teen brothers in a robbery spree state to state that ended fatal. Some say Arthur McCain was a quiet young man in middle school, very polite and helpful, even as he got older and started attending Frederick Douglass High School and got a job at McDonald's. But it seemed over time, something clicked in the young man and his focus shifted. He started getting in trouble, leading to one day of chaos. In May of this year, Arthur, now 18 years old, and his 14-year-old little brother drove up from Baltimore to Mount Laurel, New Jersey, to go looking around in a Best Buy store. It was a normal day with a crowded store and people shopping, when Arthur and his little brother decided to take some iPads and iPhones from the store. A few employees and shoppers saw the teens grabbing items and attempted to stop them, when Arthur upped the blick and dared anybody to get in their way before him and his little brother ran out the store to a whip and fled the scene with the items. At that time, police in that area didn't know who the two teens were and where they were from. But later that day, they would make a brazen move that would make national headlines. For 23-year-old Fabian Gonzalez, it was a regular work day. He got up, got ready to head to his job at T-Mobile store in Canton. Fabian described as a laid-back young man who spent a lot of time with family when he wasn't working or coming home to relax and play the game. His main focus was bettering his people in their situation, even if it meant working all week and handing over his whole check to his family. Once the young man made it to work, everything seemed normal. Broad day in Baltimore, people shopping in the plaza, when two young men entered the store who appeared to be looking around, looking for phones and about to shop. But the iPhones or iPads were not on display because of previous situations of theft. One of the young men allegedly looked around, peeped the scene, and demanded Fabian to go to the back to grab some of the electronics before upping the gun on the young man. Not a minute later, shots went off and two people ran out the store. Other customers and people that saw the commotion called BPD, who responded to the store on Boston Street on Sunday, April 30th, about 4:25 p.m. When they arrived, They found Fabian suffering from a gunshot wound to the chest. He was rushed to a local hospital in critical condition. At the store, a 9mm shell casing was found. Also, BPD noticed a bunch of cameras all around. They worked on taking still images from the video to piece them together and piece together the events and the suspects. The next day, they received a call from the hospital that unfortunately, Fabian had passed away from his injuries. Witnesses stated 2 black males announced there was a robbery. Not long after entering the store, they took property from some customers before a shot went off and they fled on foot. As news got back to Fabian's family, they were devastated. Balloons were put in front of the store as a memorial in memory of the young man, who family members described as selfless, who only went to work and back home. A GoFundMe was also started to raise money for the funeral expenses, and a vigil was held along with a Stop the Violence march, as most saw the shooting as senseless. A few days would go by with BPD sending out images of the suspects to multiple agencies and releasing photos to the news. They would get a call from a Baltimore County police officer who stated he recognized one of the suspects because he had a lot of dealings with the young man. He claimed the man in the video was 18-year-old Arthur McCaden. Another person that attended school with Arthur also reported to police they recognized the young man. Baltimore City Police will also receive pictures and video footage from Mount Laurel, New Jersey, showing 2 teens, one in a blue sweatsuit, taking items from Best Buy that same day Fabian was shot. The men had on the same clothes in the Baltimore T-Mobile robbery as well. They acknowledged it was the same suspects who did both of the situations. A warrant was put out on Arthur and his 14-year-old little brother, whose name wasn't released due to his age. Eventually, both young men were picked up in the 5200 block of St. Charles Street and charged with multiple counts of robbery, first-degree hit, theft, handgun violations, and more. The 14-year-old was charged as an adult. During his first court hearing, Arthur's attorney pleaded for bail, or for the young man to be released on home monitoring. The young man wanted to finish school and had a job at McDonald's, but due to the seriousness of the crimes, bail was denied on both brothers. They both remain in custody. Rest in peace to Fabian. I send my deepest prayers and condolences to the family. You never wake up and think going to work will cost you your life. Arthur and his brother is innocent until proven otherwise, as the case hasn't made its way to trial yet. But for some young people to be that bold to up a blick broad day in Best Buy and T-Mobile with customers around is crazy to me. No mask, straight face, you might as well walk yourself into a jail cell. Parents of the young men declined to comment. A lot of people blame the household, but is that really the case? You can teach your kids everything right from wrong, but the environment or the peers around them can teach them something totally different. A young man or woman whose brain is not fully developed with a gun in their hand is a dangerous thing, because in their mind at the time, what they were doing made sense, and they thought they would get away with it or nobody would get hurt. A big brother is supposed to lead by example, not crash his little brother out. At just 14 years old, you definitely don't know any better. These 2 young men are facing life in prison behind some electronics. Unfortunately, some of these things to some people are more valuable than life nowadays. The future looks wild right now. It's a lot of places, not just Baltimore. Crime is up, evictions, murder, food prices, they even talking about aliens. Makes you wonder the deeper issues and what's really going on with our youth. What they are seeing, hearing, or ingesting in their minds on a daily basis to make them feel this was a good move. Yeah, man. Crazy story. Rest in peace to Fabian. I remember when I first seen this situation, I was like, shorty and them crazy. Allegedly, they went in the store broad daylight. Everybody around, you know, this in Canton. Anybody from Baltimore, you already know what type time they on down there. You know, they not playing that. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about the situation. Definitely be respectful. This is another episode of the Baltimore Way. It's your boy Tony 2 times. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. It's all love, fam. I'm out.